started. And one of them is this 2-minute timer thing that keeps ringing in my ear. Apologies for that. Okay, we're just setting up the streaming scenario, and it looks like we are now out there into the wonderful world of cyberspace. Fantastic. How you doing? Hope you had a great weekend, everybody. It's nice to have your company, of course, and I look forward to that throughout the show. Those of you who haven't been in for a while, we have changed the format dramatically, I'd have to say, given that we are now trading for the first 30 minutes, 1 minute charts. And when I say the first 30 minutes, I mean after the bell has rung. Do they do a bell in London? I don't know.
They don't. They
London
don't.
Stock Exchange. They no bell.
Well, they probably do actually. They probably do. We don't hear it though.
What is it? I don't know if it's worth it anymore, is it? How many people are on the
Well,
floor?
it's more for TV, I think, and that's why we sort of see it on things like CNBC, and when the US market opens, it's a
Or
TV
drama,
thing,
is it?
isn't it? A little bit
Yeah.
more drama, yeah.
I used to work in TV.
You did.
Holy drama. Oh man, drama. There's a whole lot going on off the screen, I can tell you. Amazing. Absolutely amazing. You would know that as a musician. Um, there a lot of these people are drama. I was about to use the word queen. I shouldn't do that probably. Although, is that okay? Can you do that now? What's a queen anymore? We've lost our queen. She's gone. Our real queen, that is. Should I stop talking now before I dig a hole too deep? Probably. What's going on around the place? Have you got a trade at the moment, Ash? I think I've lost Ash, or he's gone quiet. Not sure what's going on. Or have I lost connection? Guys, if you can hear me, I
Sorry,
can't
mate.
hear
It
Ash.
was. It wasn't.
Oh,
It
there he
was. It
is.
was. Molly just came in the room, so I just had to mute.
Oh, okay. How is
That's
Molly?
all right.
She well?
Yeah, she's good, mate. She's good. Yeah, actually, just starting to finally sort of settle into the next part of our seasons. Sort of this is a weird one, because like autumn here is actually really lovely, but it is preceding winter, so you've kind of got your head in two places. The change from summer is really quite beautiful because of the change in leaves and the slightly sort of more temperate temperature, but you do know that winter's coming, and that is actually what is I consider winter when the clocks change, and we're only 2 weeks away.
Yep. Well, ours have already changed, and we're into spring, of course. Summer, as will be the case with you, only a few weeks away, and we're there.
Yeah.
You'll go
I
cold,
may
we'll
well
go
have a
hot.
trade coming up, mate. So I'm just watching this footsie. Going to get a footsie short on. Um, hopefully, we'll see. But I'm about 2 minutes away from the open. So I'll if it looks like it's shaping up, I'll grab the screen as we
Sure.
start, and we'll go from there. But
Am I sharing screen? I am.
it looks
I've got
looks
the
possible.
currency indexes up. I don't have a trade at the moment, by the way, guys. I'm in the middle of nowhere. I best show those of you, and I was talking about that before I got carried away with other things. What we're doing is trading 1 minute charts, and for the first 30 minutes, it'd be full on hydropower, not
Yeah,
hydropower, chart power. And
sharp
what I'm
power.
looking to do is trade the pound and the gold versus the US dollar on 1 minute charts. As you can see, we're ranging at the moment. I'm looking for an oversold situation or an overbought situation on either gold or the pound. Pardon me. And when we get there, I'm going to scalp it short. If we've got an overbought, I'm going to scalp it long. If we've got an oversold, Ash is a little bit different to that, but not too much. It's a scalping game, this 1 minute chart, and you've got to be on your toes. Unfortunately, at the moment, trading this on a gold chart is not possible for me because I can't react quickly enough. But I've got this EA set up on the pound versus the dollar, and I'm able to use that. Next week, I'll be able to use gold, and Ash will be able to use the DAX and the FTSE as well using this
There we
tool,
go.
which means we can get in the market very, very quickly.
Just got my screen
Ash
here,
has
mate.
got his chart.
Yeah,
Therefore, I
I'm
think he's
looking
got
looking
something
at
coming.
yeah, footsie short, but No, that's going to be no good. That's going to be no good. So we might get another possibility. But what I was looking really for is this bar to end under this area here. There's an inverted head and shoulders going on here. I don't know if you can see it that clearly on this particular screen, but there is an inverted head and shoulders kind of going on back here. So it's possible that this actually sets up for a long. But some of the other kind of time frames suggest looking for a short. But what Jeff and I are going to do is just go with the indicators, and because it's a 1 minute chart, the higher time frames won't play such a huge role in our decision making. They're still going to be important, but they're not going to be quite as important. Let's just see if we have a FTSE long setting up. It might be nice. 10 seconds left here on the FTSE for a potential long, and it looks like it's no good. Okay, so we're just going to wait. We're just going to wait and make sure that we get the correct trade. This is a potential long if it can close above this area here, and it might well be that we need the short to close under that. So Jeff's nice system is going to be slightly different in as much that we are. Oh, but incidentally, I'm going to use a 10 pip stop and aim for just 5. So actually, I can set that in here. Can I set that in here? No, it's going to be around about 0.6, I think, for the account size that we've got. So we just got effectively just a little practice account just to kind of test out the theory first, and then we will see if it actually gathers fruit. Now we might get a long here. If this can close down at this low down here on the trend line, we're going to get a long on the FTSE, but I don't think it's going to do that. We've got to be quick. No, that's no good. Okay, there's going to be a bit of waiting, I think, mate. This is an important one not to dive in, isn't it? Because we're on short-term time frames. Price is imperative, actually.
Yeah, absolutely. Everything has to be right on these things.
Yeah.
Guessing is not a game you want to play because you've got absolutely no time to react, and it is all about the setup.
Yes, absolutely right.
Or should I explain what I'm looking for?
Yeah, explain what you're looking for. If the screen comes back, mate, if the trade comes back, which it might do, you know, if we get a close down here and then a retest within a couple of minutes, then we'll have something. But there's nothing just yet. So yeah, you go for it. Go for it.
No problem. So with my scenarios, what I'm actually looking for is a reversal followed by a confirmation, and we had that here. Now, whether that would have been an overbought situation, I can't see to the left of me because of this box. But we had the reversal certainly, and we had the confirmation with this bar here. So that would have been an entry had I considered that to be overbought. Now, someone asked me, I think it was Muhammad asked me last week, what did I consider to be overbought and oversold? Great question. And there's a myriad of ways you can do that by indicators. I'm actually using Bollinger Bands to gauge that, but you could use chart patterns, you could use RSI, you could use MACD, you could use Williams percent R, you could use double tops, you know, whatever you deem to be an oversold or overbought chart. That is where I would lead you on a minute. It could be a horizontal level, right? It could be a double top, you know, it could be anything, but you need to get yourself into the rhythm, I suppose, of understanding what those particular things do time and time and time again. And as I said, at the moment, I'm using Bollinger Bands. I may change that if the Bollinger Bands don't seem to be acting the way I've seen them act in the last few weeks that I have been looking at these things. Doing very, very well, I've got to say. So we'll stick with that for now. If you wanted to know why the Bollinger Bands are working, I would suggest you go and do some exercise with Bollinger Bands. What I'm using a standard deviation of 3 and a standard deviation of 2. Once it hits the 3 or closes on the 3 or above the 3, on the 3 or has touched the 3, and then I'm looking for a close below the 2 standard deviation. If you don't know what I'm talking about, then maybe one day we'll go through that as well. But That's what I'm using for overbought and oversold. At the moment, we've got an oversold situation on pound. So let's take a look at that. So it was oversold. So it did hit the standard three deviation or three standard deviations away from norm. Then it closed above the two. Here you can't see that because I haven't got my bands on here. It's too busy. And now we've had a close above, but we've had a second close below. So that doesn't qualify. So I want to see another close above. This could be it, in which case we will place an order. I'd like to qualify
we
that.
might get another trade on the FTSE. Oh, it's going to be
Okay.
close, mate. I'm just going to take the screen back really quickly
All right,
again.
you're right.
Let's see if we get our close. Now we're going to go short in. If it stays just in this area, this is good. 3 seconds. Oh, it didn't let me in. Okay, let's take that. Oh, that's not letting me take the trade. Now, why is that? Oh, that's a shame. We were aiming for 5. We're just aiming for this low here, but it hasn't let me take that trade.
Spreads?
I wonder if it's the account size.
Don't know. Can you and would you take it now that you're back above the entry?
Let's see if we can get it. We're going to need to wait for this bar to close. If we're
So
going
are
to
you
be
buying or selling?
selling the bar,
Yeah.
selling the bar. But let's see if the bar closes down at that on that level. Looks pretty good. Yeah, I would definitely take that. I'm trying to get in, but I can't. Okay, I'm just gonna. No, I can't increase it because that's going to get us over 1%. Well, the idea would be that we're going to get an entry short here with a stop loss at the highs, 10 pip stop loss. Actually, it's a little bit higher than that, and aiming for 5, which is going to be around about here. So even with a spread, so let's say you're going to aim for 6, a little bit lower.
I'm going to take a long on the pound.
So that would be the target down there.
Have you entered?
Well, I can't enter, and I don't know why. We might need to speak to James about the account and whether it's going to be available. But no, we've only got a small account size, and it might be that the account size is just not big enough. I can't go up. I think you have to go in at 1 for the FTSE. I don't think you can go in at micro levels unless it's possible.
Okay, I've just set my trade. It's telling me I'm risking $1,000, and I don't want to do that on this one. Have we had an adjustment in their account size on this? We must. I haven't looked. I meant to risk $10. I'm not going to risk 1,000 on this.
You can take the screen back, mate. I'll let you know if this would have worked out. And
all right, can you just check the account size whilst I'm doing that?
Count is at $1,000.
That's interesting. It's telling me I'm risking the whole lot, and I'm only risking 1%.
Yeah.
Weird. Okay, I'm not going to place it. We will work this out, guys. It's early days on this. We've got to get it right.
Yeah, I mean, you get the idea. I mean, the main thing is that we can only minimum of 0.01, but that still didn't work. So I don't know why that didn't work.
Okay, so here's your entry on this particular trade right there. Here's your stop loss. Now, I haven't been entered, obviously. But that would be where the entry is. And the reason is that bar is closed above the 2 standard deviations on the Bollinger Bands for the second time. So potentially that was a higher low at the time. It doesn't look like one, I must admit. And this may well be it. I don't know. But they're the rules. So we'll stick with that. There's your entry. There's your stop loss. Now I've changed the take profit level to 0.75. Why? Because 0.5 seems to be a sweet spot when you're scalping. And I like 1 to 1 as a target area. But what I've done is change the rules to 0.75. So in this case, that would be risk of 4.7. So we'd be looking, let's go with 3.2 or something, which would take us to there, 3686. So that would be TP1. Right. I'm getting there. There. At TP1, I would remove half and move my stops to entry, which means if it's a winner, I've effectively banked half of the profit. If it's a loser, then obviously I've lost my 1%. What I would do after that is take profit at 2 to 1. So all out at 2 to 1, which would be entry there, stop loss there. What did I say? 47. So we're looking at 94, which is 1.3075, let's say, which is there. So entry, TP1, stops to entry, target. That's the way I play this. So that's still valid, that order. Unfortunately, I don't want to risk $1,000 on it. I don't know why it's telling me that, because it doesn't make sense. 1%. Let me try and place it again. See if it still tells me $1,000. You want to risk $1,000 on this,
Well, if it's a winner, yeah.
It's our, no, but it's our whole account. We can't do that.
No, I don't know why these aren't going in, but we will find out, I'm sure. Oh, I've got the FTSE trade on. Okay, that's worked.
Okay.
Maybe Yasin just said to me about the 0 point. Okay, so let me just I'll grab screen in one moment.
Right, I've got gold potential set up in 2 minutes as well.
Oh gosh, God, it's you know what? It's I mean it's all well and good at 0.1%. There's no profit in it, but that's okay. Okay, so we're about a tenth of a percent, but that's all right. I mean, just for illustrating the actual illustrating the strategy, it all works, mate. I'll quickly show you that we got the trade on here eventually. So the trades, this is the trade. Just aiming for 0.5 to 1. So looking back to these lows, stops at the high. So I'm using a 10 pip stop with a 5 pip target, but with the with the spread, it might well be a 6. Yeah, it's just like a 6 pip per target with a spread. But at least we've got the trade on anyway. So win, lose or draw, it doesn't really matter. It's just to kind of illustrate the actual technique and the idea that, you know, where we're slightly differing is I'm trying to find a price range, and then just using the break of the range, simple kind of price action and a retest of the range, and then selling it off. So the trade was really here. I put it on when it came up to this point purely because it would have been genuine, you know, and what Jeff and I want to do is log down the actual the trades and see if we can actually sort of form what get the journal, get the information from the journal, and we can't really do that unless the trades are actually logged, unless I note them down every day. But it's much better to have them in the market. So the trade is now live, and we will see, mate, if it works out to be a winner, a loser. It can't be a draw, because I don't move stocks to break even. We're just going to see if it's a winner or a loser. I don't know if it's going to happen over the next few minutes. Amazing, really. I mean, we've got 5 pips of movement. We're like 15 minutes into the trading day, and we just haven't moved. You know, there's a little bit of kind of fluctuation at the start, but the actual market has not moved. Big news this week is really coming from Canada with its CPI data, and I'm actually interested in a Canadian dollar short across the board. You know, over the longer term.
Last week, didn't it?
It didn't have a good week last week, no, and interesting really, because I thought, you know, if you looked at those numbers from the US, they weren't too bad, and the market got a little bit spooked by that, what was going on in the US. But the Canadian dollar didn't do well at all. And I think even against the yen, which is really where my trade is, I quite like the CAD for a short. So that's what I'm looking for.
Interesting. Okay, I had CAD as the weakest
Yeah.
on my indexes, and the dollar and the pound as the two strong. Was dollar the strongest, pound second?
Yeah, dollar looks strong on the COT data. And the pound looks actually the pound's a little bit weak on the COT data, but it looks pretty good on the seasonals, whereas the CAD's awful on the seasonals, really bad. So that's one of the other reasons that I was looking for a potential breakdown of the CAD as well. So we'll see if it
Okay,
holds,
while
mate.
you're
But yeah,
waiting for that, I'll go through gold at the moment.
yeah, sounds good.
There is a potential setup, but it's not a setup, and this is really a good explanation here. I think you've got the reverse. Well, it's not a reversal, but you've got a double bottom here, and that's suggesting to me that we're in an oversold situation. We got to close above the two standard deviations here, but then we got to close below it, or actually on it. That is a stay out scenario for me. So stay out and wait for something to close above the two standard deviation Bollinger Bands. In other words, I'm actually looking for a higher low confirmation of this low. Got an equal low here pretty much. You could call it a higher low, but it's not standout, right? I need a standout. So I need something to close in this vicinity rather than where they are now. I'd like to see a little bit of price come up and then back, but with a close above these levels here for gold to trade it. We've now would have been triggered on the pound, as you can see, and TP1 sitting there, looking potentially good. But these 1 minute candles are very tricky. They can go.
Yeah, this is it. It's good
I'll
this
do that
actually
again.
because we're effectively trying two different strategies at the same time, so we'll be able to smooth out which is the better one of the two.
Yeah, and it's going to take time. I mean, we
Yeah.
can't use 1 week as an example. We can only go back and look at the data, and the data says, "Oh, okay, that wasn't a good thing. That was a good thing."
Mm.
Use the good thing, not the bad thing. It's pretty simple when you look at it that way. Okay, so if this candle were to close in this vicinity, I'd be interested in taking this trade long. Stop loss is pretty easy. That will be underneath the swing. And the entry will be above the bar. But it's got to close in this vicinity, as I said. So your entry would be there-ish.
What's this gold, is it?
What, yeah, 26.63.88. There you go. So there's where you'd enter. There's your stop loss. Your first take profit would be at 0.75 to 1. That's 18. You want 3/4 of 18, which is about what, 4.5 times 3, 13.5, which is 26.65.24. 26.65.24, which is right about there. So half off there, stops to entry there, and take profit at 2 to 1. Can't remember what that was. 17.5, 35. Come on, don't run out of room. Dash.
You all right?
Yeah, I'm getting there. How's your trade going? 35, 26,
Um,
67.
Actually, it's going against us a bit, but it's still within the a little bit of a trading range, so it's okay. It's okay. I think it looks like it may well be a loser in the end, but the market's so quiet that something could really tip it quite quickly. Let me just see what
Okay,
we
well,
got
you can
coming
see
up.
the pound hit TP1, came back and hit the
Nice
stop
work.
loss, but that's a winner.
That's nice work, mate. Well done.
And waiting on gold. Guys, have you got any?
Swiss.
I'd be stunned if you've got no questions on this because it happens all pretty fast. So please feel free to post in the chat box if you've got any questions around it.
Just a PPI from Switzerland, but there's not a lot today. Actually, it's pretty much nothing when it comes down to actual information, you know, in the way of data, which is why I guess we're getting such small moves from the FTSE. I'll tell you what, you know, interestingly, like over the longer term, I think actually we've had tomorrow we've got some employment data from the UK, which is going to be interesting. But yeah, interestingly, the budget is not too far away, and because we've had a change of government, it's going to be an interesting budget. It could be a very different looking budget, and I suspect the pound is going to move. Now, I don't know which direction it's going to move, and my hunch would be it's going to weaken. But
Interesting.
yeah, because some of the mood music's really been about kind of like tightening the purse strings and just a lack of investment right across the board. But because a lot of the stuff leading up to the budget is, you know, just quite a lot of hot air and sort of like positioning, then there might be some surprises and there might be some like relatively bullish surprises. So it wouldn't be a good idea to kind of trade it too early. Unless you get a decent and clean setup, but it does, you know, I think the UK economy, I think the UK economic picture is going to start looking quite unattractive for investors with the new government in, and that may well drive the pound, you know, quite a bit lower, because we've been okay. You know, the UK has been okay. It's been surprising in many respects. There's been a lot of data which has surprised to the upside, but now we've got this change of government. There might be sort of like enough that's going to be changed. FTSE's out at a loss, so that one can be recorded as a loss.
Okay, the pound is actually setting up for a short, but it's not there yet. So let me explain that. We've come off, well, arguably, we've come off a double top here. Certainly a resistance area, right, where we took our first take profit. What we're looking for here is the sell-off, which we got with this one, which did close below the second deviation Bollinger Band. Then we got a second close below the second deviation Bollinger Band. But look at the candle. Do you really want to trade that short? Is the answer, is the question. And the answer is, and is that really giving me a confirmation of the short? And the answer to that for me is no. If you find that different, then fine. But I'm waiting for, if this one were to close, and it hasn't, it needs to close down here somewhere as a reversal bar, then more than happy to trade it. This could well be the lower high, don't know, but I'm not getting that signal. So until I get that signal, answer is stay out. So that's what we're doing at the moment. Gold is not doing too much and headed towards the stop loss. Remember, we entered here. We're looking for a higher low at this point, obviously, and some buying to come in. We shall see. But I've got no other trades at the moment.
Shame DAX would have been a nice one as well this morning, but unfortunately, I was watching the FTSE. Let me just see whether that would have worked out. Yeah, DAX probably would have been. Oh no, do you know what the problem is with the DAX? It's set up before the market open, and you know we need some parameters where we say, you know, that these are the sort of trading times we're going to be able to actually take the trades. It just it went a little bit too.
Would have been hit too, mate.
Okay. All right, so we'll have to note these down as well. Okay, mate. Well, no worries. I don't have anything else. I don't think the FTSE is going to be attractive now, and the DAX is already. The DAX needs to turn around. So this is just sort of like on a final note here. Because we're on 1 minute charts, we can basically sort of like, you know, flip directions at any point. The FTSE's now broken this area here to the upside, so that's the downside opportunity. It just didn't come down enough. It was 4 pips, so we would have been at least a pip away from any profits anyway. So that one wouldn't have been any good. And now we're above this area. Is it possible we could trade it long? It's getting a bit overstretched. And Jeff talks about overbought, but when you see this many bars all in one direction, that does suggest that there's going to be a bit of a correction. And the only way now to trade this would be find another trading range, then see it break out, and then go for it. That's really what I'm after, really, with trading ranges. So this now is trending, so that's no good for us. The DAX would have been an opportunity here. It wouldn't have been quite as clean as I would have liked, but there is just, because of that, but it's probably because there's a few gaps around there, but I quite like that line along there. So the trading range would have just been broken there, but it's, as I say, it's not very clean. Possibly could have picked it up on the trend line there, maybe, but it's getting a little bit difficult. So now, with the DAX, I'll be much more interested to see whether it would break down this trend line here and take a short on that one. But I don't see that one shaping up in the next 5 minutes. So so no more on the table for us this week for me, mate.
Right, mate, no worries. I'll just very briefly go through a couple of things, and then we'll say good day to George and see what's going on in his world. First up, I'll give you the only order I placed for the weekly charts this week, and it is Aussie dollar long versus the Japanese yen. I'll give you the trade, then I'll give you the reason why. If you want to follow this, that is, I'm looking at buying Aussie versus the yen at 101.51 with a stop loss at 97.71. So sneaking underneath the monthly pivot by about 15-20 pips. Stop loss is catered for. TP1 is 300 pips, which is just underneath MR2, but importantly underneath this, well, I'll call it a left shoulder, but what I actually call it is the high before the ultimate high. MR2 104.51 is going to be my first take profit. I will take half off at that point and move my stop loss to entry, making that a winner if it does hit TP1. Reason is, well, if you look at the big picture here, this is in a massive uptrend, has been for the longest time. As we know, the yen's been as weak as lolly water. I could say another word, but lolly water will do for now. We are at a bit of a resistance level, no question. But this is one of, I'm short euro yen, right? And I'm in a drawdown situation at the moment on euro yen. So this is kind of a hedge against that, but it's also a setup that I do like. So monthly charts telling me, no, I don't want to go lower at all. These two bars are quite dramatic, no question. And on the weekly, we've had a little bit of a pullback last week with that spinning top, and I like the idea of going long here. There's nothing, absolutely nothing in terms of resistance until we get to this area. And at that point, I'll be safe in the market. So that's why I think this is a trade worth taking. The yen, if it does what it does and has done for the last 3 or 4 years, it will weaken and will go long Aussie yen. That could well be twisted and thwarted by an escalation in the Middle East.
Could well, yeah, that's what we're up against, isn't it? At the minute, all these kind of.
If the market goes risk off, then this will fail.
Yeah.
The hope for that is, if the market does go risk off, it goes risk off before our entry. Reason that I like the pound and the dollar this week is based primarily on these charts. This is the dollar index. The dollar index has broken back above this former support level and this support trade line. It does look headed to the top here for me.
Yeah.
Maybe a little bit of a pullback this week, not sure, but it does look very strong. Aussie dollar, interestingly, has now come back underneath the box range or inside the box range, and importantly, underneath that trade line or trend line as well. A retest of that kind of makes sense to me, but really, are we at a support level? I can't really see that. So there may be a little bit more downside on the Aussie. There may, however, if you look at the fact that it came off its low last week, it's still in an uptrend. Higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low. You can't say that about most of the currencies. And these are all boxed pretty much against the US dollar. The Canadian dollar is one of those that has taken out the low, right? In spades, really. Terrible week last week for the Canadian dollar. I would expect a retest of that trade line, and then maybe a test of the bottom here. So maybe a little bit of a rally on the CAD, but I don't see it as a buying opportunity. The pound, same as the Aussie, is in a very, very strong trend upward, has come back and retested the backside of that trend line. Also, that horizontal level, I'm expecting upside on the pound. Swissy also taken out the low. Ultimately, I see the Swissy up here somewhere, but we're still in a position where we've got now a lower low, expecting a lower high. Kiwi is a little bit different. It's hit the backside of that trend line. Yes, it has taken out the low, but only barely. A little bit of upside for the Kiwi, maybe as a bounce back to this level. Not sure what happens after that, but I think the Kiwi's got prospects this week early. Another one that's taken out the low is the yen, and we all know about the yen. It's either risk on or risk off, and that's the only thing that will change the downside to the yen. And the euro has got a little bit of work to do to get back to this backside of this trend line. So I'm a little bit bearish the euro. So the only two I can really put my hat on are the pound and the dollar. Dollar because it's just looking so strong. Pound because it's still trending upward very, very strongly, and it now has a support. The Aussie's questionable, and that's why Aussie yen is a little bit difficult. But I think the setup is there for me, so that's why I've taken Aussie yen long. I couldn't find anything pound strong versus euro weak, yen weak, Swissy weak, because they're all overextended. I need to have pullbacks.
And it's a tricky time really, because whereas before it was quite obvious what was going on with central banks, globally, apart from the BOJ raising interest rates. Now we've got a situation where the BOJ is at minimum pausing because of inflation's come back to Japan, and all other central banks are talking about reducing interest rates. I mean, I don't know whether they can reduce interest rates in the way that the market believes they will, but that's the discussion. And it makes the yen just that little bit more attractive. But it's you and I know all too well how difficult it is to trade the yen long effectively. But the environment sort of is kind of primed for some more kind of fluctuations to the upside for the yen. Seasonal data is okay as well. We've had some really weak seasonal data for the Japanese yen, but that's sort of improved a bit. COT data is not great for the yen, but it did improve a little bit last week. But it's by no means the weakest currency across the board at this particular stage. But the dollar is very strong on COT data, but it is kind of heading into maybe a little bit more stickiness with the seasonals. But yeah, it's a trickier time, I think, mate, with inflation kind of at that level where it's not low enough for central banks to really kind of like start cutting, but it's also not a problem. So they're probably unlikely to raise. And you've got this kind of economic environment which is weakening as well. So a cut is their preference. But it's just whether they have the ability to cut with the inflation situation the way it is. So, makes the market just a little bit harder to kind of navigate. CPI data out of Canada could be a driver this week. That's really what I'm watching for for my currency of the week. I'm looking to sell the CAD, but CPI data tomorrow I think will be probably the message. That's where the message is going to come from.
Yeah, look, I
Central
think
banks are.
sell the rallies on the CAD makes perfect
Yeah,
sense to me as well.
yeah.
Mohammed, before we go to George, very, very clear to me what's happening with euro versus the dollar, and I think you're seeing this double top here, and so do I, very, very much so. And it's not just at any old level either. It's pretty much bang on this level here. That I'm on a weekly chart here, so you can see how strong that level has been. Every time it hits there, it does something. And the last time it hit there, kabang, it took off like a shark on a mackerel. That double top's very, very clear. What I would like to see, I'd have to say, and if we use that next level, which is probably about there somewhere, and it's also the breakout of the range, right? Have a look at the daily chart. I think that would be a perfect place to sell this. It also coincides with this level here, which looks like a classic M topping pattern, I'd have to say. As it stands, if you are short at the moment, I think you're in the right direction. I'd have to say that. What I would be expecting, however, is a little bit of a rally. I don't see how that comes, to be honest. I don't see how the dollar weakens that dramatically, or how the euro strengthens that dramatically to drive it up there. But I think that would be a perfect place to sell it if it were to happen. Other places to sell it, just any resistance level, I think makes sense. Get your stop loss, well out of the way. I think this goes down. So that would be my analysis on that. Anything to add, Ash?
No, I mean it's the euro is just a garbage pile of fundamentals, and there needs to be because I'm looking at the fundamental the things in
I miss gold.
behind the scenes. Then it's very difficult to me to then go to the charts before I've kind of made a case for something to kind of go in one direction or the other. And I have to say the dollar looks a lot stronger fundamentally than the euro does. So I don't see where the rally is going to come from at this point.
Yeah, same. I don't. But if it did come, I'd be very happy to sell it at the moment. We've missed and that's the thing with minute charts. If you stray away from them for 1 minute, you're going to miss something. This candle here closed pretty much on the 3 standard deviation. We had the rally closed above the 2, then we had the pullback, then we got the close above the 2 again, which was your entry there. So that would have been a classic winner. You can't look away, Ash. It just doesn't work on 1 minute charts.
Not with minute charts. You're absolutely right.
And the pound's just, oh no, it hasn't. It's still ranging, so no drama. But there you go, guys. That's I suppose a very good lesson. If you are going to trade 1 minute charts, you need to dedicate, I think, your full attention to them for a set period of time. You can't sit there all day and do 1 minute charts. You go absolutely crazy. But set a dedicated period of time. Stick to exactly what your system is, and I think you'll do okay.
Yeah, agreed.
Right, that's it for you and I, probably.
Yeah. We'll try again next week, mate. We took a winner in the pound and a loser in the FTSE, so we're about balanced.
Yeah, I think we're a little bit behind today because gold was a loser as well.
Well, gold was a loser as well, and the FTSE was at 0.5 to 1 as well. So we are a little bit behind, but we'll try and recover next week.
This one would have been a corker. This one would have been your 2 to 1.
Okay, so could have balanced it out, but all right. Well, we'll try again next week, mate. It's still early days, and it's a teething period. We're not going to get too kind of caught up whether it's doing really, really well or really, really poorly at this stage. I think we're doing okay actually. Since when we started, but we'll continue to monitor it and bring everybody in the room the results and see if we can get the actual system completely cement over the next.
I'm super keen. I haven't been that keen to try something for a long, long time.
Yeah.
So it's quite good. What it means to me and at the moment I don't have time to trade, as you know. So that's why I'm doing daily and weekly charts. But what this would allow me to do, if I can get this down pat, is spend half an hour in front of the charts.
Yeah.
That's it. 2 or 3
Yeah.
trades will come along in half an hour. Happy days. See you
Yeah.
later.
Yeah. Yeah.
Back to the
Yeah.
bookwork.
Yeah. Yeah. I like it too. All right, mate. Well, let's push on to George, and we'll be back next week. Same trade channel.
Cynthia, you're most welcome, and Mohammed, you're most welcome as always. Look forward to your company next week, and we'll try and refine this just a little bit more. Have a great week,
You're
everyone.
welcome, Yasin.
Come on, George. What do you got?
Oh, gosh, me.
That's you.
I was waiting for you. Yeah,
don't forget the sound.
I'm George. No, it's not the sound. I haven't even actually got George up yet. Let me see what I got. Where are you, George?
My pleasure, Linda. My pleasure.
Okay. Here's the man here. He started already, but that's not what we want just yet.
Oh, Euro dollar untested daily pivot so far, guys. Keep your eye on that one too.
So you've got other things. I don't. We'll introduce the others as well at some point. The other some of the other currencies that we might actually find are better. Okay. Have a great week, guys. We will see you next week.
Good day, traders. I trust you're well, and it's a pleasure to be a guest on Trading Buddies. Thank you, Jeff.
You're welcome,
Thank you,
George,
Ash, for having me here.
My pleasure, mate.
I sincerely hope, traders, that you can make good use of the price action insights I share with you as an overlay to all the strategies that you are working with. So we are building up on what I've shared before. And if you find anything interesting, go back to the previous videos and catch up with us. So let's have a look at the markets that we have. Started off with 4, now we have 5 because I've added a major currency in. And we'll talk about my lovely friend, the cable. Here we are, DAX 30, all-time high, which happens to be September 2024. And on my charts, there is a price. I really don't worry about where the price is, because different brokers will have different variations, etc., etc. But they are all within the same range, and the price action patterns do not change. They're absolutely the same. Example, I love trading the UK 100, but if you trade the FTSE 100 directly, price on the axis may be different, but the chart is exactly the same. Anyway, here we go. DAX 30. If you were a bull, what would you have wanted? You would have wanted follow through from this huge breakout that we had that ended up creating the all-time high. But that micro double top, which became a micro wedge top, market went up once, twice, 3 times, is a problem for the bulls. The bears had a fantastic candle beginning of the month, but then, they kind of faltered along the way. So we are in a trading range. Bulls are saying, well, all good. We had a small trading range here when we got to the high, breaking above the high of August, and then we bulleted up. So bulls, probably gathering momentum, seeking to accelerate up. Would I buy here? That's a question I'm always asking myself. If you want to buy on the premise that the bulls that created this breakout are the same bulls that have prevented the bears from going below this big bull breakout here, and they are going to accelerate up, smash through the present all-time high, and get to a measured move, which would be somewhere up there. I don't have my MT4 charts, but if you do a measured move of the breakout above here, it's somewhere way up there, almost getting to the stratosphere. That's what the bulls would be hoping for. So a pretty aggressive bull who is prepared to risk some capital and scalp out will be buying. Now, let me explain why I'm saying aggressive risk scalp out. Because if you buy here, you're assuming that, there's enough momentum coming into the market from the bulls to break out above here. You are aware, of course, of the micro double top, micro wedge top that the bears created. So you do know, if you're a smart bull, which you should be, that the bears might just come back and reverse all of this. So if you want to buy a low probability, because buying low probability means that the market can reward you immensely if the low probability event occurs by smashing
Still
through.
there? I'm seeing
Hey, hang on, we're in a
nothing of
trend.
George.
Like the guy who came here and said, well, listen, I am going to buy above here, put my stop down here, and let's see if the bulls can accelerate up from here and break through there. I want to be in. He would have been, high risk, low probability trader. But look at how you would have been rewarded. Everyone else would have been trying to come in somewhere within here. So you can always buy at any time, even low probability event, because you have accepted the risk part of it. So if you want to buy that on that assumption, I would put my stop down here, because if it fails and hopefully just comes back and doesn't create an outside candle, you can get out, still with half the risk. If it accelerates, you tighten your stop to here and then off we go. Would you sell? Well, if you're selling limit orders, you probably want to be selling there again on the assumption that the bear forces that created this are going to come in and defend that, and you want to sell right there with your stop above there. If you want to trade that way, you can. I don't trade with limit orders. I want to see things haven't formed before I jump in and trade. So if I was going to sell, I want to see strength from the bears. If the bulls come up, and you get the micro double top and a bear candle like that. Happy to sell, take your chances. That's a classic example of good sell, failed, you can still get out, slightly breaking little loss, but you got to trade. So as a bear, I would wait to see evidence of bear strength, some form of reversal, double top, trend candle, then take the chance, put the stop above here and see if we can smash through down there. So interesting stuff coming up on DAX. UK Brent, how fascinating has this market been? Okay, huge acceleration up, and we thought, oh my goodness, they're going to just smash way above the high of August. They did in the day and then came back, but they still controlled. That's the bulls. Next day, bulls had a fantastic chance. All beautiful stuff on the 5-minute chart that I trade. Of course, when you guys trading the daily chart, see all of this stuff, it is wonderful. Whether it's a doji, market would have gone up and come down. And if it goes up and comes down in the time that you're in the market, what a beauty. Sometimes it all happens, for me, the Asian session and then the late US session, and you just sit in a trading range in the day. But there are always opportunities. So, if you bought that, fantastic. And we kind of spoke about where you'd have put the stop, because, market might just turn. So if you'd bought that and you'd seen that, you should have brought your stop to here, to minimize your risk, and boom, you would have been stopped out. But if you kept your stop somewhere down here, or knowing that there's a pullback and hoping there's acceleration, fine. But by now, your stop should be here at the very least. What would you do here? Same kind of thought as I had earlier on. If you want to buy, a bull will probably have had an order going into Friday. Would have been disappointed, say, but hang on a second. Because if you buy here, you're assuming that, there's enough momentum coming into the market from the bulls to break out above here. You are aware, of course, of the micro double top, micro wedge top that the bears created. So you do know, if you're a smart bull, which you should be, that the bears might just come back and reverse all of this. So if you want to buy a low probability, because buying low probability means that the market...
I'm not sure what's going on with this sound.
Low probability
I fixed it, mate. I'm sharing it now.
Oh, you're sharing. Okay, cool.
For everyone says, hey, hang on, we're in a trend. Like the guy who came here and said, well, listen, I am going to buy above here, put my stop down here, and let's see if the bulls can accelerate up from here and break through there. I want to be in. He would have been, high risk, low probability trader. But look at how you would have been rewarded. Everyone else would have been trying to come in somewhere within here. So you can always buy at any time, even low probability event, because you have accepted the risk part of it. So if you want to buy that on that assumption, I would put my stop down here, because if it fails and hopefully just comes back and doesn't create an outside candle, you can get out, still with half the risk. If it accelerates, you tighten your stop to here and then off we go. Would you sell? Well, if you're selling limit orders, you probably want to be selling there again on the assumption that the bear forces that created this are going to come in and defend that, and you want to sell right there with your stop above there. If you want to trade that way, you can. I don't trade with limit orders. I want to see things haven't formed before I jump in and trade. So if I was going to sell, I want to see strength from the bears. If the bulls come up, then we get the micro double top and a bear candle like that. Happy to sell. Take your chances. That's a classic example of good sell, failed, you can still get out, slightly breaking little loss, but you got to trade. So as a bear, I would wait to see evidence of bear strength, some form of reversal, double top, trend candle, then take the chance, put the stop above there and see if we can smash through down there. So interesting stuff coming up on DAX. UK Brent, how fascinating has this market been? Okay, huge acceleration up, and we thought, oh my goodness, they're going to just smash way above the high of August. They did in the day and then came back, but they still controlled. That's the bulls. Next day, bulls had a fantastic chance. All beautiful stuff on the 5-minute chart that I trade. Of course, when you guys trade in the daily chart, see all of this stuff, it is wonderful. Whether it's a dodgy market would have gone up and come down. And if it goes up and comes down in the time that you're in the market, what a beauty. Sometimes it all happens, for me, in the Asian session and then the late US session, and you just sit in a trading range in the day. But there are always opportunities. So, if you bought that, fantastic. And we kind of spoke about where you'd have put the stop, because, the market might just turn. So if you'd bought that and you'd seen that, you should have brought your stop to here, to minimize your risk, and boom, you would have been stopped out. But if you kept your stop somewhere down here, or knowing that there's a pullback and hoping there's acceleration, fine. But by now, your stop should be here at the very least. What would you do here? Same kind of thought as I had earlier on. If you want to buy, a bull will probably have had an order going into Friday. Would have been disappointed, say, but hang on a second. If this was just a breakout pullback, I won. Why do the bulls not trigger it? So bulls would have been disappointed. Some would have removed their orders from the market, but if you kept your order in the market above here, hoping that the bulls buy and smash above this micro double bottom and get through that, fantastic. The key is to manage your trades. And I always say to guys on the 5-minute chart, you can have as much coffee as you want. You can walk around. You can talk to the market. You can do whatever when the market is ranging. But when that thing starts to move and you execute your trade, you sit, you manage your trade. That's what we do. We wait, we execute, we manage, we get out when we do. So if you're happy on the daily chart to put your order there, get triggered in. But remember, you trade in the daily, so you're only going to come back end of the day. So which means don't put your stop here. You can put your stop here. That's pretty conservative. I would do a measured move of that and probably put my stop here. Come back and see end of the day. If I've been triggered in, have we gone up or have we reversed, and I can still get out a little bit of risk. Or if we are higher, then I can tighten my stop and begin to manage things. Would I sell? I wouldn't sell this. If it had been a little bit more interesting candle, bear candle, like that, like that. And when I say interesting bear candle, I mean, this is bullish, even though it's got a red body, because the tail is bigger than the body. Had it been the other way around, with a small body but a larger tail on top, bears on top, I would be able to put an order, beneath there. So bears, I would wait to see if we get anything more interesting. I mean, bulls had a strong candle, so you could argue low probability you can buy. But where we are now, if you think of it, there is a double top. Wow, that's gone pretty fast. Okay, let's move, George. That's a double top. That's a micro double top. So that's a lower high. So it kind of favors the bears where we at. So bears probably wait for one more candle and make a decision. Bulls, you can put an order in the market and wait to see what happens. Silver in a trading range, high of 2024. I mean, the bears had a fantastic opportunity until they let that tail build in. So, for bears, they need to give us a reversal. So we can say, oh, fantastic. From this double top, these tails, bear breakout, now we have a 2-bar reversal. Happy to go lower, then we can sell. For the bulls, this is good. Tails at the bottom here, good trend candle, good follow through. So if you want to buy, I mean, this is a good buy for the bulls. Good buy. This is a buy that's good for the bulls. Put your stop here. That's a pretty conservative stop. Or you can find another level, low or high. You know, we don't put random stops. We find levels. Put it here, or do a measured move. But that would be good for the boost. And then wait and see if we get acceleration up. If we do, tighten your stop, take risk out of the market. Euro yen. Well, this for me is absolutely fantastic. Okay, where we're at all these levels, favor these bears that created all this beautiful stuff. You know, we have macro double top, we double tops, tested, came back, etc. But we have a tight trading range. A tight trading range is BOM breakout mode. Something is going to happen. If the bulls usually favors the last candle, right? At this stage, here on Thursday, favor the bears, they failed. Here, favors the bulls. If the bulls are strong and they give us a follow-through candle, and it's a trend candle, bulls must buy. Measured move stop, put it here. Wait to break out of the tight trend range before making a decision. If we end up with another bear candle, then the next day, same scenario, wait for a breakout trend candle, close below the trend, the tight trading range. Then you can sell, measure, move, stop above here. So fantastic. Something is going to happen, and it's going to happen pretty quickly. Finally, pound brought in to the mix with 5 markets. I mean, this was good for the bears. You know, I mean, look at this. Fantastic run for the bulls. Just a normal pullback, you know, and then off we go, and then we fail with this interesting tight trading range breakout mode pattern. Bears followed through nicely, tail problem, but they managed to recover the next day, followed through third day into the month, and then we just had this trading range here. Tight trading range, sloping downwards channel, exactly like this, exactly like that, exactly like that. The bulls are saying, well, you know, bulls were taking profit and bears were trying, they're failing. So the bulls are gathering strength to defend this. And they've done that. Every time we came back with some kind of weak channel, they did that. So if you're a bull, I'll just wait. If we get a candle like this at any time, buy, decide where to put the stop at a technical level, and hopefully we get all the way up there. Only time that you're not going to buy is if we don't get a bull candle, but the bears smash beneath this level and end up with a trend candle, then we're going to sell and see if we get a measured move stop all the way down here. All right, guys, I trust you've enjoyed this, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the week. For now, from Jeff and Ash and myself, it is bye-bye for now.